I had a goal to get 20.
Yeah.
But then the last year I got close.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there this year.
Yeah. Do you think that it's been easier or harder than what you thought it would start out to be?
It's definitely like hard. I think it's like keeping that like tunnel vision, like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like,
yeah.
But in day-to-day life, it's very hard. Like you're working and
yeah.
Yeah.
There's hurdles, right? And like, I think I'm always very proud of you when we catch up, because I'm like, I know that there's no handers. I know that you're doing everything you can do. Like some people, they can do 20 properties in a year, right? And they do one every second year. Right?
Yeah.
And you got Dylan, and it's like, okay, Dylan should be doing 3 a year, right? But he's like, fuck, I want to get to 10 a year, right? How do I get the next one out, right? And if we really look at the portfolio, it's been 26 months, 2 years to get us to 17, right? Like, you're only 25 years old. Imagine what you're going to be when you're 30, and you're going to be fucking a savage, right? It's great.
Yeah.
So that's cool. With your first deposit, like when you came to us, like, and this is just put in perspective, right? Like Dylan isn't out here going, I earn $1 million a year or $500,000. What sort of business are you in? Would you mind me asking? What sort of
Carpentry.
Business? Carpentry. He's carpentry, right? He's a tradie, right? So he's not, drive around Lambos with $1 million incomes and all that sort of shit, right?
No.
We'll work you to get there, right? Like you're going to push yourself to get there. But how much did you come to the table with 26 months ago as a deposit to start with the first couple?
I think I would have had about 150.
150.
Yeah. That got me my first 3.
Yeah.
Then like you keep working like
yeah
to save the deposits, but then I feel like it gets easier as you get along.
Yeah.
It's different issues. Like first it was like you got to save to get it. Now you can pull some equity. Like you don't have to.
Then you need to have the cash flow to get the equity out.
Yeah. Then but you still need to work. Like it's not like, hang on, I'm getting the deposit like out of equity now, because to get the equity you need to be earning enough to keep pulling. So
That was good. That's good. So 150K. People will be sitting here watching Dylan going, oh, that sounds good. You got 150K. There's people who are sitting, who will come into our office and they buy properties and they've got no money in their account, but they've got a property they paid 400 grand for that's now worth 600. They've got 150K equity in it, right? So people don't realize what they have when they come in, and how, people thinking, like in Sydney, I'll ask Dylan before, how much do you reckon something's worth around the area? Like these little townhouses are like 3-4 mil for a little house, no eaves. But people would think to buy a little house or a unit, you need to have 200 grand in deposit saved, everything's $1 million or whatnot. Do you remember what the first one was? How much you paid for it?
Yeah, it was in Sydney.
Okay.
I think it was 327.
Okay.
So
how much do you reckon it's worth now?
Probably about mid 400s.
Yeah, I'd say too. I think it's the one closer towards the city, like a red brick shitty old thing. Yeah, closer to the city. Yeah.
The rent on that was pretty cool. Like I think when we bought it was at 280, I think, a week.
Yeah.
And now it's at like 520. Off the top of my head.
There we go.
Yeah.
2 years ago, some dumbass was renting their property for 280. The agent was renting it at too cheap. That would have affected the sale price. If the old owner got 520 a week for that, they wouldn't have sold it to you for 320, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And what would have been the next two prices? Do you remember what they were, which properties were?
Yeah, there was another one in Sydney.
Yeah.
One in Queensland.
Okay.
Queensland one was pretty cool.
How much was that?
Paid 210.
Okay.
210 or 215. I can't remember off the top of my head.
What's it worth now?
It's probably about 420.
There we
I have
go.
agents calling me all the time, like trying to sell it.
There we go.
It's like,
where's that one? Like, what area? What region?
uh,
Just the region of it. Yeah.
it's like in Brisbane area.
Brisbane area. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. That's cool, right? Double in 2 years. People say, it's impossible.
It's cool.
Right? Yeah. Cool. And so your rents have gone up, doubled, your properties, some of them were doubled. Yeah. Do you have a favourite property?
Probably that one.
That one?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. There's been a few that have gone up like beyond 50%, not quite doubled yet, but
Yeah.
I think any return like that in 12 months, 24 months, like it's not like I've owned them all for 24 months.
Exactly.
It's like been
a year,
getting them along
6
the way,
months, 3 months.
Yeah. But they're all doing great. Like, I don't have one where I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have bought that
one. Okay.
No, they're all good.
And like investing in a property, like we're just sitting here talking about it like we're ordering lunch, right? Like, oh, fucking 2 hamburgers, a bag of chips and 6 fish cocktails, right? But what, like it sounds easy and it is when you're focused and committed on it, right? But is it like there's hurdles? I think it's important. Always like hearing people's hurdles that they've come across, like a tenant fucking them up, trash property, stuff like that. Have you had anything that's gone bad? Like what would that be? Would be the worst?
Nothing too like bad. I wouldn't say it's happened, but there's always a oven here or leaks, like just general like maintenance for the property. Like there's always going to be crap going on, you know? Yeah. The worst one was like a tenant I don't think they could afford the rent and they vacated and left a bit of a mess in the property, but it's like one out of the whole lot, you know, and it's an easy fix. I don't think it's bad. And
I think we spoke about this before. Was that property we spoke before? So you're like out of pocket like a month, 2 months rent or something?
Yeah, that. It's not bad.
Insurance going to cover it?
Yeah, insurance fixes it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good.
People would call me up. I've got people that, and no offense if it's you watching this, right? I've got people that are like, fuck, the tenant hasn't paid rent for 2 weeks behind, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, there's processes in place, right? What's the worst case is going to be? Oh, they've got to pay their rent. Well, you know, let's just assess the situation and we'll force them to pay the rent, right? And you'll get the money. But the thought of it, people get scared about, right? Dylan's here just so calmly. He's like, yeah, didn't pay the rent for 2 months. And, you know, like your energy isn't getting frustrated because you've got processes in place. Like, fuck, the insurance will cover it. We're cool.
Yeah, like it's no stress. Even like what happened in Townsville recently. Yeah. Like people were like, shit, aren't you worried?
Oh, because of the flooding and stuff. Yeah.
And it's like, nah, like they're more worried than me. Yeah. Nothing there.
Look, we've bought like maybe 500 properties in Townsville. If I had to take a guess, maybe 1,000. I don't even know how many properties I've bought in Townsville over the last 5 years or so. And we're not buying in Townsville at the moment because it's just gone all up too expensive, right? Like people, when I throw out a suburb, I'm like, cool, because it's like, it's too late, right? I'm not talking about the suburbs out there. But in Townsville, people are all scared and there was properties underwater and we didn't have any go underwater that, you know, that we bought. And I don't like buying things that are fundamental sort of bad properties, but, you know, there's good and bad in any location, but yeah, it's good. Like it was a good stress test, right? Because things are underwater, like it's a flood. Right. Yeah, everyone's all right, so it's good. You touched on it beforehand, like some areas became easy and some didn't. Would you say buying your 10th property is easier than your first, or your first is easier than your 10th?
In different ways. Like I feel like your first is always going to be the hardest because you really got to work hard to get it. Yeah. It's if you're starting from scratch, you don't have any property to pull equity on to start with. So first is hard in that way. Like you really got to grind it out. Yeah. And then the 10th is like, it changes. It's maybe not as hard to get the money, but it's like structuring it all properly and making sure, you know, you can keep moving forward afterwards.
One of them gets interviewed, they ask him, why are you an alcoholic? And they go, oh, my dad was an alcoholic. That's all I know. And they go to the other kid, they go, why have you ever touched alcohol before? And they go, my dad was an alcoholic. I don't want to be an alcoholic, right? So it's how you perceive things and how you interpret it, what you take with information, how do you apply it? And you know, habits can be broken. You know, habits can be formed as in all different ways, right? You didn't just wake up one day, end up at 500 kilos, right? You started eating bad food and you didn't know the boundary of saying, hey, that bad food, or, you know, identifying what's hurting you or taking you back. So for myself, like, you know, bad habits that I've had in my life, I've had good times and bad times in my life, I guess, over the years. If you look back at some of the old intros to these videos, I look like a bloated ass, right? My face was all fat. I looked like the Mully Grubs, right? There's just like a big fat face here on your icon. So was that because I was eating bad? No, it's just that I forgot to go to the gym, right? I got stressed. I got out of a habit, which was going to the gym all times a week, probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And then I just didn't think about going back to the gym. And then one day I was like, fuck, I need to get back to the gym because, you know, I'm being older and, you know, I just don't get sick and ill and all that sort of stuff. So that was a habit that I fell out of, and I had to retrain my mind to go back to the gym. And, you know, sometimes it can be daunting because you'll be going oh, it's too much hard work. I've got to go and, train. It's too much time. To me, it was just purely a timing thing. I've got not enough hours in the day, too much things I want to achieve, and going to the gym was inhibited to that position. So for me, what I realised is I just had to get to the gym, and when I go to the gym, whatever I do, I can just improve a little bit next time. And then next time I go to the gym, it's like, what can I do different to be improving? And I sort of started self-coaching myself and watching Instagram reels and workouts and stuff like that. Okay, cool. I need to do these sort of exercise and whatnot. So, is it a health one? Is it a smoking, right? Like I used to smoke. I love smoke, right? I'm not an ex-smoker. I'm just a very wild smoker that loves to smoke lots of cigarettes. And I'd smoke, if someone gave me a puff of cigarette and I had it today, I couldn't quit. I'll keep going, right? So I stopped smoking. I chose to stop smoking. I had to train my brain to stop smoking. About 7.5 years ago, I had my last cigarette. And I do this at sometimes like, I'm shoving up the cigarette, I have the sun setting, let's have the cigarette. But I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And it wasn't for the money because I don't care about money. It was more about, hey, I know that it's not good for your health. And if I keep doing this, I'm going to end up with problems later on in my life. I want to preserve my body, my skeleton, my meaty fleshed body that I have to, have the best fulfilling life that I can have. So cutting cigarettes was a very important. So I had a motivation to want to change.
I didn't quite use the buyer's agent service at that time.
Okay.
It was I was like, oh, where's the locations? Like everyone does, where's the hotspots?
Yeah.
And then I took that advice. I bought in the hotspot that was mentioned, Southport. And it kind of worked out for us. And I was like, all right, I need your help. Let's scale this thing up, you know? So, yeah.
That's cool. I went to your gym. I wouldn't call it the studio. What do you call the gym?
Studio, gym.
Yeah. Went to the gym the other day, and I'm looking at you do things, and you pulled out some fat calipers.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I really need to come and see the professional, right? Because I go to the gym, I try and I'm like, I've lost a bit of weight from those old videos that you would have seen and whatnot, but I need to tweak it up to the next level.
Yeah,
so.
we'll get you in shape pretty quick. Don't worry about that. But they're humbling when we grab the hips and squeeze a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just like, fuck yeah, don't squeeze too hard.
Well, it depends. If you've been cheating on your diet, we do,
Yeah. No, it's good, but that's cool. And so your journey, so you got your business. A lot of business owners out there will work hard in the business, earn good money, just keep pushing it back into the business, but not think about, hey, one day I don't want to do this, or I'm going to be too old to do it, or whatever the case may be, and not planning for retirement because you're not forced to have a super fund in your own business. So a lot of people just go, oh, don't worry about super, just buy a house or do something, and they make good active income but not passive income, and you've made that connection. Hey, I need to get passive income and build up that stream. So
I think that was where, especially with like my mum and dad they bought a couple of properties. It worked out for them, and I saw the power of what that allowed to them to do with their lifestyle, from getting their own house and things like that. And then I just wanted to scale that more. But you're absolutely right. For me, the business is kind of a vehicle with the income it gets to help support the wealth creation that I'm trying to make for my family. And it took a while to learn that. Like when you first start business, you get fixated on revenue, but you got to worry about your profit when you go to the bank and all this kind of stuff. But now that we're a bit more savvy with it, I mainly use it as a vehicle to help get the assets.
Of course. And so when you came to us, you bought Southport. When did we buy the first one? When did I get the first one for you?
So we had that initial session, went in Southport, got that, lockdowns happened. So we were on pause for a little while, business shut down. It's 2 years ago. So last year was 2024. So 2023 in November, I started with yourself. I had the call with you while my wife Alicia was giving birth. She was literally in the hospital. We were literally in the hospital. She was in labor with my daughter Elena, and I had the call with you while we were in the hospital doing a strategy session. So it's been just over 2 years. So I was like, you're doing good. Keep pushing it. How many properties can we get? So it's been just over 2 years now.
Okay. 2 years is awesome. And I'm really excited with your growth because you came to us with the Southport property. You also bought another one that were you going to have. You bought it. You're settling it. You bought one, like a new one.
Yeah. So what happened was, so we had 2 properties before I had 3 properties. So I had 2 with family.
Yeah.
That were tied up.
Yeah.
In Riverstone and Toukley. I bought another property with a friend in Toukley.
Okay.
And then we got Southport.
Yeah.
And then I was stuck. The lenders were just looking at me on the loans. Things changed. So we had to get rid of the ones we tied up with the family and my mate.
Yeah.
Sold all those.
Yeah.
Had Southport. And Alicia had Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
Those 2.
Yeah.
And then we kicked it off with yourself.
Yeah.
To get started. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome.
And then we had a unit in Schofields that we were going to move into.
Yes. There was one that was like a new one that was like...
Correct. Yeah. So we bought that off the plan and we were going to move into that. We don't have that anymore because it just wasn't serving a purpose. But that's kind of where we were starting at.
Cool. And how many properties we bought in the last 2 years?
So we're at, we sold Schofields. So we're currently at 16, plus we got a deposit on a commercial. So if we include that, then it's 17 properties.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
2 years.
Yeah. Well, we had a goal to get 20 in 3 years. So we're on track to bang that out.
Once we settle the ones that we've got in the pipeline at the moment, we'll come back, pull equity.
Yeah. Well, with the interest rates coming down, that's exciting news and that as well. So we should be able to smash it out.
Yeah, good to that, eh?
Yeah.
Good to that. A lot of people, just so I know, just a little side step, right, on that interest rates, like a lot of people don't realise, so let's say, I'm just pulling our numbers, right? I don't even know what your debt is off the top of my head and you don't need to share it. But like a lot of investors I see, if they've got like 10 or 15 properties, they're at like 3 million. That's a good number of debt people get. Right? 3 million worth of debt. If interest rates come down by 1%, that's 30 grand a year they're better off. Right? Yeah. If they come down by 3%, people think it's impossible for it to come to 3%. But every time that rates have dropped, they've dropped at levels of 3%. They don't just go 25 basis points, everyone have a great day and move on with it and let's go up again. So if it comes down by 3% on 3 mil, there's 90 grand a year that one could have as extra income. If there's neutral cash flow today, it becomes positive by the out. So I'm really excited with your journey because interest rates going down, like a lot of people don't realise the impact that that'll have on the market. Because a lot of people like yourself that are sitting there like, if I can buy another 10, I'll go buy another 10.
Yeah.
And that means that, stock depletes, prices rise, more people come in the market, your net worth's going to go up. You're going to get there a lot quicker as well. So. Yeah,
no, it's exciting. I play on I've got a little sheet with the interest rates and I take away a couple of percent, look at the number, like I'll wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
But it's all going good, Nathan. And like I said, appreciate your help. Cause I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't have like the right strategy, I would say. So it's been pretty good the last couple of years. There's been challenges we've had to go through, but that's like anything else, I suppose. You just got to bust through them.
So wants to go to the gym and get fit. And,
it's never linear.
I remember I went to the gym 2 years ago. I hadn't been for like 7 years. And I went to the gym and then I did some weights. And then the next day, my arms, I couldn't move my arms. So I like stuck and I locked in for like 3 days. I was sleeping with my arms crossed like that. And I was like, it's fucking stupid, right? But the thing is, like, if you want to have muscle growth, you've got to have a bit of tall muscle. And adversity brings upon growth and it's healthy. So
yeah, that's like what we see with our clients. It's never a linear, like we look at body fat or weight loss or other metrics too. There's always little things, but the average trend, if you're consistent, that's where it pays off.
Yeah. You're well inconsistent. So it's
just got to keep going.
That's it. So cool. And so looking at the connection there. So do you think it was your parents that inspired you to, or do you think it was just you knew that you needed to do something else, or you just excited and go rich people? For me, I think when I was a kid, like rich people have property, I need to be like them, right? But was there something that triggered you to go, property is my vehicle?
I think, look, I read some books I think that my parents had on property investing, and then it is who you surround yourself with. I looked at what my parents were doing for sure, and they have their own business. And, it's like, okay, you can work hard in your business, but if you make your money work harder for you as well, you can get the best of both worlds, right? Yeah. And then I did have another, just even off the top of head thinking about it, is another older, it'd be like kind of my first mentor when I was younger. Yeah. And he's a pretty savvy guy. and he worked for my mum and dad on the weekends, had his own business as well, but he was in investing. Okay. And then I saw the lifestyle that he kind of was living as well. Yeah. So I think it was influenced, definitely.
Yeah.
And so before I started PT, I actually worked in the construction industry. I did air conditioning, HVAC, as an apprentice. Yeah. I think if I really think about it.
Yeah, Facebook, but there was no video streaming. YouTube was a thing that was fairly new, maybe 2-3 years old. And your phone didn't have mobile like viewing. You didn't communicate. You'd text someone. Mm-hmm. Email wasn't attached to your phone. The world was a very different place. And we had a room with about 500 people. I was doing a seminar. Mm-hmm. I was talking about, I was with one of my mates, Daniel, at the time, that we were talking about, had we built our portfolio. I was at like a couple hundred properties. Daniel was at like 50, no, I say a couple hundred properties. Like, yeah, like, how many properties did I have? I don't know.
Back then, I think it's 120,
Is
150.
Like yeah, I didn't have as many as I do now, but it's like, it was a long time ago. And we're doing a presentation talking about how to buy property and build a portfolio of 10 properties. And I remember Linda came up afterwards and there was like 100 people wanting to ask me questions. It was like, we had the rooms, every room had to be extended to fit everyone in the room, right? We would overpack the hotel. And Linda came up and said, I want to buy a property. I'm friends of you're friends of a mutual friend that we have. And you said, what should I do? And she had this little bag, right? And it was, I won't say the company name, but it was an off-the-plan sales company. And they were selling these things called NRAS properties that you were looking at. And Linda was like, should I buy this property? And I looked at it and she had a brochure or some shit. I said, listen, I don't know you, never met you beforehand. But if I never see you again, just don't buy that thing. It's going to fuck you up, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about buying properties below market value, upside for growth and a strong cash flow. And I said, this thing here doesn't tick those boxes, and I was a piece of crap. And if you look back at NRAS properties, I don't know anyone that made any money on an NRAS property. They were sold expensive because the government give little grants back and stuff like that. But all the people that bought them did their ass. And we pick up properties today that are NRAS. Someone paid $400 10 years ago, and we buy it brand like 10 years old now, and we pick it up for $200, and we can kick the tenant out and push the rent up to real market rent, and it's positive cash flow and the value goes up. It's just a real shit sort of investment. And Linda, I'll let her share her story, but about 2 weeks later, we were chatting on a phone, doing a map session, and she bought, how many properties did you buy in a quick period of time? What's the first batch?
First, I remember coming on board and I said to you I was going to buy one every 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, I'll buy 2.
One every 6 months, scared client, right?
So I wanted 10. So it was going to be a 5-year plan. You presented me with one. We said yes. And then within a couple of hours, you said, you might as well buy the second one. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then before those 2 settled, you said, okay, I've got another one for you. You might as well buy 3 of those. So we bought 3 of those, and that was within that first month.
5 in a month?
Yep. And then by the time we're 3 months in, we ended up with 10. So that was my 10 in 5 years, all done.
So 10 properties, 3 months. I've got lots of questions around that, right? So 10 properties, 3 months. Did you have heaps of money, Linda? Like, how did that happen? Like, were you on stupid income at the time? Like,
no. We're just your average mum and dad.
Mum and dad.
2 kids.
Just crossing the six figure threshold as a family, 2 kids, buying positive cash flow properties. The market was very different today than what it was back then. What was your journey before that? Like, what did you bought 10 properties in 3 months and you're on 6 figures of the family income, like just crossed it, right? I'm not going into specifics here. Like, it's not stupid money. And then from that, like, what did you come to us with?
We had, how much did we have? We probably had a bit over 100.
100K?
To get started.
But did you own a house already?
So we've got one unit and our principal home.
Okay. And me and Linda go back like 13 years. So we just say shit.
I actually heard about you 2 years before I even started with you.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, through our friend?
Through our friend.
Okay, yeah.
But we weren't ready to start then. My dad was sick.
Yeah.
So with the money that we had, we were going to renovate our home.
Yeah.
Put an extra bathroom, extra bedroom, have mum and dad live with us.
Yeah.
So we thought once that's done, then we'll start our journey with you. But during that 2 years, every builder that we met fell through. Every architect fell through.
Yeah.
That's when I just said to my husband, I think this isn't going to work. We've been doing it for 2 years now and nothing started. And I said, let's give this guy a go and let's go to that seminar and see what happens.
What you came to me with a sleek fucking slide deck of a presentation that the person was trying to sell you. It'd be really cool if you found it one day. And,
I think I chucked it.
Oh, okay.
We didn't go ahead. It wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, it'd be cool.
I don't want to be a
memento,
hoarder.
right?
Yeah.
But you'll hoard properties, right?
Yes.
So we go way back then, and the things we talk about is like real dry, like just it is what it is, right? Your mindset growing up, debt, culturally, like buying 10 properties, getting into debt, how did you feel like compared to what you were told as a kid? Cash, don't buy things debt.
Being Asian, our life is you buy a home, you pay it off, and then you just work till you retire and you die. Yeah. So mum and dad paid off their home. They were blue-collared workers, put us through Catholic school, so they did it tough.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I guess since I was 21, all I ever want to do was retire.
Yeah.
And I've done Amway, I've done Avon, I've done everything that you can potentially do to find a way to financial freedom.
Yeah.
Nothing worked.
Yeah.
So when we got married, we bought a unit.
Yeah.
And then after that, we bought a house so I can have a dog.
Did you have a dog? Did you ever buy a dog?
Of course. We had Tia.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, we had Tia.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the bribe. So I wanted to live in the city. So I wanted to live at Balmain in one of the terraces. But Loy said, look, if we move outer west, we'll buy a house so you can have your dog.
Okay.
So we did that. And that's when the first place that we bought our unit, it almost doubled in price. Yeah. So that's when I said to him, I said, this property thing might work. We might need to do something with this. So we started looking for a property.
Yeah.
This is before Dad was sick. We started looking, and we find the stuff that you find.
Yeah.
So my husband finds it, and he's calling these agents, and no one ever calls him back.
Okay.
And then he's like, "This thing's not working." He goes, "How come no one calls me back?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess you've got to be someone they know. So you're just a number. You're just a person leaving a message out of 300. No wonder they don't call us back. The good ones, that is, the good properties." So then we tried. We looked for years, and then that didn't work. So then we started having children. Yeah. Dad got sick. Yeah. So that's when we went, you know what? We're getting older. Life is short. Yeah. If we don't do something soon, we're going to end up like mum and dad. That's paid off their home, fantastic, but then they're struggling. They're on the pension. Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to have pension by the time we retire. So we wanted to do something, and that's where we started hearing about you.
Yeah.
I still remember when I started with you, and one of your team members said to me, "Okay, you got to pay this fee. Yeah. It's called a buyer's agency fee." And I said to her, I go, "What's that?" Because I've never heard of it. I didn't know you pay for a fee. And my husband actually said to me, "Why do we pay him this fee when we can do it ourselves?" And I said, "That's great. We've been looking for 3 years. We couldn't find anything. Yeah. So maybe we'll pay this fee and see what happens. And if it's good, we'll keep going with you. Yeah. If it's no good, we've got an extra property under our belt, and we're how many short? We're 8 short to the 10 that we want." So that was the goal.
And then it was big trouble, so I had to get rid of them. And that's why I'm running as a motel moving forward. But every time I got annoyed with that property, I remember once I was driving back, I was filling up my car. I was like, fucking piece of shit, right? I filled up the car with petrol. I'd only owned it for like 2 years or something. I was like, if I sold this now, I made $2 million. That's 40 years of someone's life on 50 grand income, right? Yeah. And it's bringing me in 400 grand a year income. And that was like a 20% return. I paid like less than $2 million for the site. I was like, it was probably worth 20 million when I'm finished with it now.
Wow.
But I'm like, but at the time it was like tough. And I was like, if I just sold it today, it's like spitting me out maybe 200 grand a year positive as it was. But then I was like, if I sold it, I'd make like 40 years. I bought like this is a human life of wage. It's like I bought myself retirement just from that one deal, and it's like, when it gets tough, it's like just putting in perspective.
Yeah. None of it like stresses me out. Like, I'm pretty calm about the whole thing. Like, there's nothing we can't solve. I feel like there's always issues, but like, there's like I wouldn't say I ever have a week where there's nothing that comes up, but there's always like a way to get around it or solve it.
I think choosing your pain as well, right? Like everyone's got a problem, like just because you've got some assets and you've got cash flow and you've got a lot of equity and all that stuff, doesn't mean that you're not going to be immune to problems. It's just how do you deal with them, and the problems change and evolve. And it's like I'd rather have my problems than have my Woolworths. Which one do I take, the nappies or the formula for the kid, right? It's like which one do you choose? And the problems that you have as an investor and building wealth is like they're different. So, cool. And future goals, like what's the end goal for you today? Like, do you have
as far as like property?
You said you want to get 20 by the end of last year.
So I should hit that next few months, I'd hope.
Attention zinger.
But this year the goal was to have 30 by the end of the year.
Okay.
I mean, we set goals like it means you really got. I don't just set a goal like, I'll achieve it. It's like you got to really push to get it, and like if you don't get close, like you might get it, a few months after. Like, but I want to be pushing, not like set something. If I sit here and say, "Oh, it's all right, I'll get 20 next year," and just have 20, it's like it's very achievable. You don't have to push. Like I like the push. Like when you achieve the goal, it's like, yes.
What's next?
So 30. I reckon 30 this year, but. Long term, I don't think 5-10 year into the future too much. Like you imagine stuff, but like as far as setting an actual goal, like I don't really have any like that.
There you go. I always feel like when I say that I'm going to do something, if I don't do it, I'm going to look like a dickhead. So like now you put it on video, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, you're selling 30 properties in another 12 months, right?" But it's like I think it's good when you put it out to the universe because like, okay, cool, like it solidifies it too.
You're
like,
accountable.
A funny story about the motels. When I bought that one in Cooktown, like I took a video. Do you remember the video I put up like a couple of years ago?
This one,
I was out there taking a video. I told my team I'll buy 10 motels just to put in a little group portfolio. And I was out there, numbers were flying through my head. I'm like, fuck, this thing is the best thing ever. It's going to give me like 100% return on investment per year, whatever. And then I was just taking a video of the site, excited and just sharing it off, going, "Oh, check out this thing." And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, no, I need to up my game. Like my goals were too low. And I was like, I'm gonna get 20 motels a year for the next 5 years, and I get to 100. And then I gave the video, and then one of my staff saw it, and they're like, "You just said you're gonna buy 20 properties a year." Like fucking, like I just bought another 3, right? And I was like, when I put it out there, it's like it's out to the universe, right? I'm accountable to it, and it was a big task. So I got to 30, and I'm like, fuck. Like, so I was taking a pause on motels. They're a different kettle of fish. I'll buy more, but at the moment, like that was a big feat. But it was like still, if I average over 3 years, it's like 10 a year. But it's like, it's like push yourself, right? So cool. Has it been like at each level of your journey and the challenge that you face with, do you feel like you've grown to a different level? Like, do you reckon it's taught you something? Is it teachings that you could share with others?
I feel like you're always learning along the way. It's just all different things, but like little challenges. Like, it's like as you get older, even like if I get stuck with stuff, I come to you or the team. They've always got like good advice because they've seen it so much.
So if you want to bring them in closer with your goals and align them, work on it together and, okay, partner, where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years? Like, I want us to get serious about our relationship. I want us to be able to, we want kids. Okay, cool. We go have kids. I'm going to have to go back to work after a month, right? We're going to have to pay for this mortgage that we're in. We need to work out the mortgage situation. We need to work out, how do we get me out of the job so I can stay home and look after the kids? I don't have to send the kids off to daycare and have someone else raise them, right? They're the important things. What are the important things for the partner? Okay, cool. You don't want to have to work. Okay, great. You don't have to do fly in, fly out. Great. You want to have a new car. You want to have a holiday every year. Cool.
okay, this is what the cost is going to be. We need an extra 150 grand in the salary each year. Can you go work harder? No, I can't. I'm fucked. Okay, well, so you just want to be happy with the life that we're served, or are we going to do things to improve that? Oh, well, how can we do it? These properties are shit, right? Like, who wants to buy a shit box in Mount Druitt? It's never going to go up. Who wants to go do this? Okay, well, if we go, let's go look at some data, right? If we need 100 grand extra passive per year, that's 2 grand a week. I need to have 5 properties. Let's collectively get 5 properties are too much debt, whatever the fear may be, right? So the thing is going, okay, let's break it down. 100 grand a year extra income is what we need for us to have the happy life we need. That's going to need us to get 5 properties. Cool. We've got 1 deposit. Let's start with 1. Sometimes when you say, hey, we need to go, like, I don't know, right? I don't know the dynamics of anyone watching these videos, but someone could be like, yeah, I see it so fucking clear like Nathan does, right? But my fucking husband, my fucking wife does not see it, right? How do I get them on board, right? You're coming in going, oh, we're going to buy 20 properties. Birchy said we get 20 properties, I can retire. Fucking yeah, right? But that sounds just too overwhelming, right? You guys have seen these videos when I was a fat fuck, and I've lost some weight over the last few years, right? I've been going to the gym. And I knew that I needed to get back to the gym, right? And I used to go to the gym all the time. I used to go to the gym like 8 times a week. Sometimes I go twice a day. And I thought to myself, shit, for me to get back to where I was 10 years ago, that's like too much hard work, right? It's just too much hard work. So I avoided the gym. I wouldn't look at the mirror when I was fat bastard, right? But I realized what I needed to do is go to the gym and lift the weight. And when I go to lift the weight, I'm like, oh, that's okay. I can lift a heavier weight, or I can do something different today. I'm going to push to get there. So, you know, sometimes when talking to your spouse or your partner about it, it's like, okay, the big picture's to get that. I want us to get there. Let's just try it out, right? Let's just try the first one. Let's just get started, right? What's the worst that's going to happen, right? It's a 200 grand property, right? Your car's worth more, whatever, right? The getting the first step on the run, because when people get their portfolio right, the thing I've seen over the last, 20 years as an investor is that it becomes like a child having ice cream for the first time. They get the sugar hit and they're like, more. The dinosaur, baby Sinclair dinosaur, right?
Like Bilal said, man, we're stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it.